Is there anything more deflating than finding out that a friend of yours isn't a friend at all? Just like they're an enemy and they don't even like you. You thought all along like you guys are ride or dies?
That's the worst.
Yeah.
It is, right?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm getting a lot of direct eye contact right now.
I've never had like a ride or die turn into a friend of me, but like third tier or whatever, like you think they're a friend and then you're like, yeah, no, this person doesn't want the best for me.
Mm-hmm.
They want me to do well as long as it's not better than them.
Right.
And they want to keep me under their thumb.
Yeah.
But I've like, as far as like a best friend, like turn on me like that, I don't even know if that would be considered friend of me. I think that's just like a whole other ball of wax.
Yours wasn't a best friend, but I remember you talking about a dude that
It was a best friend.
Was it?
Yeah, it was an absolute best friend. And it's the worst because it forces you to one, question your judgment and on people.
Yeah.
And, and it also forces, like, it makes you wonder if all of the years and the time that we spent together was real, was authentic, or what did it mean to you? And it'll definitely take you for a whirlwind.
Yeah. It took me years to figure out that I'm not a good judge of character.
Yeah, I've accepted that. Now I'm horrible.
I had to go through a lot of people. Kristen told me all the time. All right, Claudia. So this has everything to do with a frenemy and a boyfriend here. Right now, I wasn't here when you were on before. So what exactly is going on with the boyfriend and the frenemy and the Instagram likes?
Yeah, so I have this frenemy. She's named Karen. Well, we'll call her Karen. And she basically told me out of the blue, like, hey, your boyfriend's been messaging me on Instagram, and I think you, like, should be aware of it. He's, like, constantly sending me stories and sending replies. And I thought he was just being friendly, but, like, it's gotten to a point where I think he's trying to flirt with me, and I think you should know. And so, like, obviously I asked for proof, but she completely refused to send them to me and was like, I don't want to be involved. I just need to, like, warn you. And so I was kind of like, I don't know, like, I was so shocked. I never had any reason to doubt my boyfriend's faithfulness. And so I was just calling to be like, what should I do? Like, you guys, should I be mad? Should I don't know. But
where was the
also, to be fair,
where was the turning point in your friendship where you realized, okay, this friend here does not have my best interests at heart?
Like, I'd say like 5 years ago. It's one of these friends that, like, we've known each other since childhood, and so it just, like, has become sour. And I think it's always been not great, but we just kind of stuck around each other because of how long we'd known each other.
Okay.
It's like the friendship's grandfathered in, and so you just kind of like you give more grace and more tolerance to certain behaviors that you wouldn't with somebody else if you had a newer friendship. And then before you know it, you're like, oh my God, I'm letting this person walk all over me.
Okay, yeah. So you realize it from then. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that's basically it. Like, my boyfriend is completely inept at social media. So I was like, is he flirting with you, or is he just, like, clueless on social media? So basically I called and was like, what should I do, you guys? Like, do I confront him? Do I just let it go?
And my advice was, I do think you bring it up because obviously you're not worried about him because you're like, he's inept at social media. I really don't think he's going behind my back and doing this. However, she seems to have ulterior motives. So if I were you, I was like, I'd go to my boyfriend and be like, hey, heads up. Karen hit me up and is trying to say, like, you're hitting on her. I just want you to know, like, if you have any interaction with her on social media, she's going to twist it and turn it into something it's not. Right. So it's probably best if you just keep your distance from her on social media. So not accusatory, not saying like, hey, you're sliding into Karen's DMs, but more of like a warning for him to steer clear of Karen while he's on social media.
So he only has one response in this whole thing, one appropriate response, and that's, okay, I had no idea, or whatever. All right, no problem. That should be it. End of conversation.
Right.
So how did it go?
Yeah. So basically, like, I couldn't take it hanging over me, so I told him pretty much immediately that, like, one of my friends had said that he was being shady on Instagram, and he was, like, completely shocked, and he asked who it was, and then I told him, and he literally just started laughing when I told him it was Karen. And, like, honestly, that kind of annoyed me, and he could tell that I was getting frustrated, so he just went ahead and, like, handed me his phone and was like, look through my phone anywhere you want. Like, he was so confident that I would find nothing and that this was all, like, a crazy misunderstanding. So I went to Instagram and I opened his DMs. And like when I clicked on it, my heart literally fell to my stomach because Karen was in his DMs and there were a lot of messages between the two of them.
He kept
So
the
I went ahead and
receipts.
scrolled up. Yeah, I like scrolled up really far and realized that every single message from my boyfriend to her was a fire emoji. So he didn't send her DMs. He had obviously like replied to a ton of her Instagram stories with the fire emoji.
Well, it looks like he's getting better at Instagram, so good for him.
Yeah, I'll have a little credit here. Is it possible, because, as a general rule, guys are dumb. Is it possible that he thought that she was a friend of yours, so in support of your friend, he was doing that?
That's how I would have felt.
That's what I
Well, that's kind of what he said. He was like, "Oh, I just thought it was like polite to respond to your friend's stories so that like my friends would like him." But then he like showed me other messages, and apparently he's been doing this to every person he follows. Like every single story he looks at from any person on Instagram is just like fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji.
It's kind of cute,
And I was like,
honestly. I mean,
Babe, you don't have to respond to every single person's story.
my husband does something similar, not the same. So he doesn't send like fire emojis, but he likes every single person's post. Like he's just he's like because he's a cheerleader.
Supportive.
And he's a support, yes. And so he literally goes through and he likes every single person's post.
Yeah, I think if he was just sending the fire emoji to your frenemy, then we got a problem. But because it's with everybody, it's not necessarily a problem, is it?
Here's the thing. I get where your frenemy is coming from, because if my friend's boyfriend was sending me the fire emoji, I would be like, this is a little suspicious. But I guess because he's doing it across the board, in his mind, this is like the equivalent of thumbs up.
Yeah.
Even though the context of the fire emoji is absolutely not thumbs up.
No.
So
I would have done it thinking
Right.
like the complete opposite of trying to get myself in trouble. Like I would feel like that's going to keep me out of trouble. There is no words. There is nothing. It's just a fire emoji. That would make me feel like I was safe.
So when you confronted him on that and he is sending the fire emoji all over the place, what did you say?
Well, I was like, you don't have to respond to every person. He was like so confused, and he was like, well, then why are people posting them?
I mean, he has a
Which
valid
was
That's the
point.
point.
For it.
The most social media. But okay, here's that. Like, I started laughing and felt like so much better, but then I like went back to his DMs with Karen,
Of course you did.
and while he'd just been sending her the fire emoji, she had been sending like much more. And so after he had like responded a few times, she started responding to him with like heart eyes emojis,
That's different.
which feels, yeah, that's more suspicious than the fire emoji in my personal opinion. And like had even started responding back to his fire emojis and even said like, I see you looking, winky face, LOL you like, and like definitely flirting. And then like said, does Claudia know about this? And like, my boyfriend, God bless him, didn't say anything, just responded back with a fire emoji.
He's like a digital caveman. Like, I make fire.
This is all I got.
All right, so we can say that your frenemy is showing you exactly what you already knew, which she's a frenemy, and your boyfriend is just clueless when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I don't think he's doing anything on purpose.
No, I really don't think he did anything wrong. He's just completely inept, which we kind of knew.
So I think
But we do have confirmation that she was flirting with him.
right. So now if you're asked for him after you explain what's appropriate and what's not in the emoji world,
Yeah.
he has to block her with no discussion whatsoever to support you, right?
I don't know if I would block.
I mean,
I think that gives her satisfaction of knowing she got to you.
Yeah,
I
and
wouldn't block.
That's how I felt. Like, that's why I had said when this had come up, I was like, don't say anything to your boyfriend, because then you're just feeding into her little pot stirring antics.
But we've talked about this before, the short game to me is, okay, great, maybe she's going to feel satisfied. Okay, I got blocked. I know I bothered them. But isn't the long game way healthier for the two of them?
Probably. But
It is, but people like drama.
They sure do.
And fire.
All right.
The Bert Show.